Hello guys and welcome back to TNT Madness. Today we're going to be looking at essentially the cheapest and simplest unraidable vault. And what I mean by unraidable is I just mean that it can't be blown up by creeper eggs. So the point of this is if you were in a vault inside your base or your faction's base or something like that, there is still a very slim chance that someone could somehow get in. And in that very slim chance, you definitely don't want your chest to be unprotected, as no doubt they'll have your most valuable stuff in them. So if you take the extra time to build something like a vault like this, or something a little bit stronger and more efficient like the regen vault, then you'll have a much better time. The reason for this is because once the raiders get inside your base and realize that they can't creeper egg your vault, they're going to probably have to rebuild their whole TNT cannon, as they're going to have to push it along a few blocks left, and depending on how many walls you have or how strong the defense is, they may not even bother. So it is extremely good idea because the amount of defense it increases is incredibly high. So today we are just going to be doing a very simple tutorial on this very simple vault. So before I start the tutorial, I should probably explain how this vault works. So essentially you're covering every single chest and you're going ahead and placing water around all of it. So no matter where someone places a creeper egg, so if I go ahead and place one, it will not blow up any of the chests at all. Even if they go ahead and try and place it inside the chest, because we've got a 2-block gap in front of it, above and below it, so that way it's the same height as the creeper, so it won't go ahead and allow them to blow it up, even if the creeper's head does somehow get in the chest. So it essentially makes it unraidable from a creeper egg standpoint. However, in terms of you opening all these chests, when you're on a server, the redstone blocks act as a transparent block. So if I go ahead and destroy this redstone lamp, then as you can see, now I can just go ahead and open my chest and access all my valuable goods, and then I can go ahead and place the lamp back. So as you can see, that is a very simple way to access your chest. Sure, it is a little bit more annoying than just opening your chest normally. However, you still have to destroy the block, but you don't need any specific tool to open them. And the great thing about this vault and why it's so popular is because if you are looking at all your chests, by having a redstone block behind them, you can see which chests are locked and which ones aren't. And as you can see, this one, if I didn't have that back block on it, it would be unlocked. So this makes it extremely strong and extremely useful. I personally wouldn't use this over something like a regen vault, but if you are just building your base, and a lot of faction members in my faction do, then I would totally recommend it. But anyway, now on to the tutorial. So now onto the tutorial, but one thing to keep in mind is that this may be the cheapest and simplest vault, but there are some other vaults that are actually smaller and can fit more chests in them, like for example the regen chest vault and the slime vault. So if you want to have a look at them, there'll be links in the description below, and I did a video not too long ago explaining the differences between this one and those other two vaults. But anyway, if you are interested in this one, there'll also be a download link in the description below for the world that I showed earlier. But anyway, now on to the tutorial. So what you're going to need is you're going to need a 6 by whatever area, because this is an infinitely expandable design. You just don't really want to expand it backwards. So what we're going to be doing for this one is we're going to be doing one that fits 10 double chests, 5 along horizontally and 2 high. So where I have these chiseled quartz, this represents where I'm going to be placing the double chests, and in terms of the y-axis, it's going to be placed where I have these 2 black stained glasses, because what you need to do is you need to have at least 2 water source blocks above and below each chest to make it actually properly functional. So what this iron stands for is that's just the water around it, and this gold just means the wall, and this gold for the front piece would just mean the thing that you stick in the very front of it. So what you're going to need for this is you're going to need some building blocks, you're going to need some chests, you don't have to worry about trap chests for this, you're going to need some redstone lamps and some blocks of redstone, as well as a ton of water source blocks. Also, one thing to keep in mind, if you do want to make yours really customized and you don't really like the idea of this, if you're doing something for a specific design, then you can of course use something like a transparent block, and then whatever other block you want to use in front if you want to match the same color or theme of your vault. So the first thing I'd recommend you do is go ahead on your gold blocks, go ahead and place some sort of barrier around it. And if you're already in your vault, then what I'd recommend is placing against one of the walls, because that way you don't have to use an extra block of space. You can just have it hugging the wall like here and back here, because it really doesn't matter if they get through the wall, because it's still going to be water protected unless you're unlucky enough that they somehow have the hybrid cannon directly locked on to your chest. However, it won't make much of a difference anyway. The next thing you want to do is raise the rest of your platform and your base or your vault down by one, because when you have water placed around here, you don't really want it flowing over everything. So you can either place this up by one or place pressure plates. However, your first chest is going to be at this height, so it's just a lot more convenient and easy to reach all the rest of the chests if you do raise it up by one. And that's definitely my top recommendation. So anyway, next thing we're going to be doing is going up by 2 blocks like this and placing down our double chest, and then placing a redstone block behind it with a redstone lamp in front of it, and then we want to go over by 1 block and then go ahead and repeat the same thing. And you just want to keep doing this until you reach the very edge of your box, but still 1 block away from the actual wall. And as you can see, if we just keep doing it, this is the preferred way I like to build it. However, everyone will be different. And once you have done this, it should look something like this. I wouldn't recommend placing the water down till last. So if you want to expand it upwards, then you of course just need to repeat the same thing. Go up by 2 blocks and then go ahead and place all the same chests and place it the same way, and then go all the way back along. So now that you've done this, it should look something like this. They'll just be floating chests in the middle of nowhere. However, what we want to do now is go ahead and place down the water. You want to go ahead and place, I'd like to start at the top and placing it down the back, and then go ahead and go 2 blocks forward and do the same thing. You don't want to do anything else, or else it will run way over the front. So it just should look something like this and look very seamless. However, the one thing you do not want is all these air bubbles in between your chests. So what you want to go ahead and do is place some water underneath each of these chests. As I was saying, just placing water under all of these chests. And as you can see, we are done. This is a very simple, cheap, and extremely quick to build vault. There should be no real excuse for you not to build this. It can take 5 or 10 minutes, or depending on how big of one you are building, it takes no time at all. This is definitely the biggest advantage of this vault and why so many people use it. So please, if you aren't using one now, at least try this one out in your next faction season or in your current vault. But anyway, hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, please leave a like. But goodbye from TNT Madness.